vibe. Look in my eyes, he hypnotized. He don't know why. He don't know why.
Warning, extended satirical material on this program may strike some viewers as vulgar, offensive, prurient, or, worst of all, serious. It's satire. Please adjust your expectations and interpretations accordingly. So what'd you do this week?
Unfortunately, worked outside.
Is it hot there?
It hit 100 today, and it's going to be in the 100s this week, with 80% and up above of humidity.
So that sounds hot.
Miserable. I'm lifting several hundred pounds of equipment.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Is that legal? Can they make an adult do that?
Oh, I need a new job.
You shouldn't have left Colorado.
This will be the 6th time I move back.
Yeah, you just learn your lesson. I don't think you've learned it yet. You keep moving away. Hey, what do you think about the orcas? There's these little black and white little orcas that kill sharks, and they're really like mean. They've been so pissed off lately that they started in Spain displaying dangerous and puzzling behavior, like trying to wreck the boats and stop the boats. Do you think they're pissed at humans for killing one of their own, or do you think they realize that something's going on with the ocean when we just keep polluting all the ocean's fishing line and stuff? Or
I mean, we saw, I think, 2 instances where one, we killed a baby calf.
Oh.
And then another, we paralyzed a mom's spine. And like 2 of the babies that had with her was like trying to reach out to humans for help. We eventually found it and we're like, yeah, there's nothing we can do.
And even when we do help them, the Japanese will get them and just eat them. They catch every fish there is. Like, fuck it. We try to do good, and the Americans like, oh, let's let the fish go. We saved it. Then the Japanese are like, get into my net.
More food for us.
Into my net. We will eat you in this fish market. What do you think about the this liberal group? We're going to call them plant-based eating. These, vegan-type plant-based eaters. They're really pissed off that they named a baseball team the Macon, M-A-C-O-N, the Macon Bacon baseball team. And so these people are like, no, they need to change their name. They can't have bacon in there because it just sounds kind of funny and everyone loves bacon. Like, all right, so you're against bacon, but you can't take it away from others. It's like taking it. It's like, I know it's bad and it hurts the environment and all that, and I'm totally for like going meatless and all that, but come on, it's a baseball team. They're not. Hey, they got upset when they used like the Cleveland Indians and the Redskins, and now they're like, no, we don't want any indigenous people's names, and no meat terms either, no bacon. I'm like, fuck, it gets a little too far. Like, Jesus Christ, like, don't you have anything better to do? Don't you watch TV? Let's get on Netflix. Let's get these people to chill. Give them some marijuana or something. These people are fucking out of control. No, I don't want any bacon. No meat products. I don't want any. Oh, fuck.
There's some pretty crazy groups in the West and Midwest, like in Colorado. I went out with some people who were just super against meat, and they ordered the veggie burger?
Oh, that's fucking nice. I've had a veggie burger.
And they were trying to convince me to have just a veggie burger. And I was considering either the steak or the triple-decker burger. And so I went with the triple-decker burger instead. And they looked at me like, yeah.
Last time we were inviting him out.
Then when ordering, I was like, does that come with bacon? And they're like, no, that one doesn't. I was like, can I get extra bacon on that?
Jesus.
And they were pissed.
They were fucking losing their shit. So who's this? Fuck. That's a way to piss him off. Jesus. I remember there's this guy named Tim Allen. He has a show on TV. I think it's been discontinued. But Tim Allen had a family show, a little conservative in nature. But on the show, his daughter married some guy that was Brad, was a vegan. And they're always making fun of Brad. And all of a sudden, Brad couldn't lift a big box. And they're like, oh, looks like Brad can't lift the box. He must be a vegan. Totally fucking making fun of Brad. I mean, they always just a little shit just to poke fun at Brad because the vegans take it a little far and the plant-based eaters now. I know. The good people, though, the good hearts, are just that it's like, those 19-year-olds when you were at that age, 16 years of age, and you were like convinced that your religion, we'll just say Jesus, was real, and you're like trying to sell it to the neighbors and all your friends, and you're like, no, you don't understand. If you don't do this, you're going to go to the horrible place where there's fires and hell eternal, and you're going to be cast into. But if you follow my book and my beliefs exactly as how I believe, you'll be saved forever, and you'll be in streets of gold, and you'll do anything you want, and not get punished at all, and you can eat all you want, do whatever you want, as long as you follow my ways. And it's like, then you grow up and you're like, well. You lose that. Even if you believe in that stuff still, you lose the fervor. Remember when you're really young, like knocking on doors, you're like, hey, I got to sell my turkeys for the Boy Scouts, or the girls sell their little Girl Scout cookies. And you realize, like, I sold 1,100 boxes or 500 turkeys, and I got a T-shirt, and this company made $100,000 off me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that you don't get as much for your... And so these people are just like crazed in the head, like they're starting over at that fervor stage of like veganism or whatever they believe in. And they're just like, you need to vote for my person. You need to eat my meat. You need to do what I do. You need to follow my diet. And if you don't, you're just stupid. And I'm like, come on, people, let's just get along. So there's this one guy not getting along. It's a true story. An auto shop owner who paid worker in 91,500 oily pennies. And so he dumped it on the guy's lawn. So the guy had to pick it up. He fucking was pissed. Like, and he put oil on it to make it even harder to count. And so the guy had to wash it all off, and he spent more trying to get his last paycheck from this guy. And so the guy ends up a federal judge. He takes it to court. And the owner was such a jerk, like, to the judge and everyone in the courtroom, just a nasty person, that the guy was like, okay, the judge says, not only do you owe the money that you've already paid, we're going to make you pay $40,000 more cash. And the federal judge, that Miles Walker, who owns AOK Walker Auto Works in Peachtree City, Georgia, owed the guy $39,935 to 9 workers for unpaid overtime and damages. But he also wants him to pay that one guy $40,000 just for that guy. Like, he doesn't pay overtime. He's not trying to pay the employees. He won't pay him when they go to, like, yeah. So the federal judge saw it and says, enough of your bullshit. You're going to pay. For you being a cheapskate, you're going to pay. And I thought that was sweet justice. That made me happy. Have you ever heard of that case?
Oh, yeah. I saw it in the news.
Oh, that would piss me off. Oh, that pissed me. So these blood red crickets invade a Nevada town, and the residents, they don't know what to do, so they fight back with brooms and leaf blowers and snow plows. I'm not going to lie to you, that sounds like a redneck response. I'm talking, oh my God, the crickets are everywhere. Get the leaf blowers out, Betty. Like the whole town.
Hell,
like,
I would order a flamethrower.
Which are legal. I think Elon Musk was selling flamethrowers. And they said it was legal. But yeah, if you're going to go at it, why not set the town on fire? Just fucking go at it. Because the broom and the leaf blower would be stronger. You'd have to have like 15 men in a row just kind of go. But then they just jump over you, or they fucking jump around. And like, you can't fight Mother Nature. Jesus, idiots.
Well, then they just catch on fire. Then they're flaming cricket jumping around.
Oh my God, that'd be an awesome video. Put that on YouTube. You get 1 million hits. Fucking good money right there. So there's these people in a place called Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I can't say this word. Velociraptor. I finally said it. Statue heist. These 3 guys went out and tried to steal a velociraptor statue, like of, what do you call it? Jurassic Park. And this fucking thing is huge. And they got caught. How would you like to fucking do time? Like, what are you in for? Murder, 2nd degree, 1st degree murder. I robbed a bank. I stole a velociraptor statue. I just thought it'd be cool to have in my backyard. What? Yeah, 5 years. Fuck. Like that. Couldn't you see someone just getting drunk and doing that shit in a pickup truck? Let's bring the Chevy down to the river. We're going to take it. I just thought.
Wow.
Oh, of course. Have you seen any of the stuff about the tube, the paper roll,
no.
the paper roll? These millionaires get this idea to take this aluminum tube about a quarter of an
it
inch
was carbon
thick.
fiber.
Oh, okay. You change it to carbon fiber, make it sound sturdier. They say they partnered with NASA, General Electric, like all these big companies. Well, in truth, what they did was they rented a small space from NASA. So when they said they partnered with them, that means they rented like a $500 space from NASA. So they said they partnered with them, which is technically okay. They didn't do anything. NASA had nothing to do with anything they did with this little submarine. Then they went after airlines. They did after boating company. All they did was like, hey, can we sponsor you? Yeah, can you? And so they just called them and said, yeah, we'll let you put your sticker on our stuff. So anyways, all these companies are partnering with them. So when they were doing their promotional videos for this little submarine to go down to the Titanic, they had no anyone inspect their stuff, like submariners. You know how they have to, like a boat has to be a certain way before they're allowed to go on the water. They said they don't need to because it's just a standard that everyone would be a good steward and not have to have safety rules in place. So no one inspected their stuff. They made this little tube. And the study even showed that they did themselves. The first time you use this tube in a submarine, it degrades. And it's only meant for a one-time use. Well, hell with that. They were repurposing it. And this was the 6th use of this thing. So it had no chance at the 6th. So they were just trying to make money. They literally, the thing on the front, that glass thing, it was like a plastic polymer. No testing on it. No, they didn't want to spend testing. And so instead of spending, like the military will spend $38,000 just to buy it, but they'll spend millions testing these things, like for aircraft and above, everything. The Navy test stuff as well. These people they didn't need that shit. So they literally I saw one photo with a GameCube controller. I saw another photo with a PlayStation controller, and that's what controlled it. And so these people were cutting corners, like there was no seats in the thing. It was just like a blanket at the bottom of the tube, and it was like fucking cheap. And so it looks nice on the outside, but you looked in the inside, you're like, oh my God, they're going to die. And so the one family, the father, the billionaire, and his son looked at the promotional stuff. They started searching into it, and they're like, oh, hell no. They pulled out. They didn't care if they lost the money or not. It's not worth it. And then the other couple, the other guy, the Indian father and son went in there instead. And the son's like, no, he's 19. He's like, no, Daddy, please don't take me. And that was not a very good Indian voice. But Jesus, I'm not good at these. Usually I do a French voice, but I knew that wouldn't have been right. But they get in there, and all of a sudden it starts pressuring up. And evidently it wasn't like it slowly started to crimple up on them. And then it eventually, like on the snap that the Navy heard on the acoustics, and they tried to tell the rescuers, but the rescuers were like, no, you probably heard something else. And the Navy says, no, this is, we heard the pop. It imploded. And they're like, no, we have to have hope. We're going to keep looking and spending all your tax money. And I'm like, what the? I didn't realize this. Every time a billionaire goes out on a boat or they do something stupid, these old people with money, us taxpayers have to pay for that shit. And so we spent how many dollars looking for these people undersea. And when we started to see, there's a t-shirt that looks like them. And just like, so, but it was a slow crumpling in the final, like when it had no more, it kept going down, the pressure. And I was watching the videos on YouTube about what the pressure means. Once you get down to, this ship was only rated to like 3,000, but they had to after the first use. So they repurposed it and said like, I don't know what they did. I don't know if they shined it or did something, but it's good for 4,000 again. Now think about this. Every fathom, I forgot what they were calling it. Every time you go down at 4,000 feet, it's like 138,000 pounds pressure. Like if you were laying on a bench, that's how much pressure the ship has to. And this guy named James Cameron, I think it's James Cameron, the guy that did the Titanic movie. He went down to the Marianas Trench, and he went down
30,000.
13,000 meters is what they said. So it's about 30,000 feet or something like that. And the pressure there is 1.2 or 1.3 million pounds sitting on your chest. I'm like, that's too much. And so his ship was even stronger than their little ship. But he was using, he's a smart billionaire. You know what I'm saying? He's like, he's not going to cut corners like these people did. So Ocean Gate, the company, I think their stock went down a little bit after this little incident. I think it's going to be hard for them to, they're going to have to abandon that name and go with something else. Like,
the worst thing I saw in the carbon fiber walls, they were 5 inches thick. And in the wall itself, they had a monitor, like a computer monitor, screwed into the carbon fiber. Like screws directly into the walls of the carbon fiber tube. Like, what the fuck? That's going to degrade the structural integrity of the vessel.
These people were so anxious to make money that they had no safety hatch to get out. So what they did was they put and I don't remember the exact number, I'll just say 32 bolts. So they put the back.
It was not that many. It was like 12 or 14
That's
bolts.
I'm trying to make him sound good. You're like trying to use the facts here and shit. Jesus
to
Christ.
Bolt on the titanium.
Don't worry about the facts. So they have this back shell. It's like this big half circle. So they put it on there and they put the 12 or 14 bolts in. Zzz, zzz, zzz. So there's no way for them to get out. And they thought about, hey, why don't we make something where you can press a button, there'll be explosives to get rid of it? And they're like, no, that's way too much. That's too much. And the safety, we don't want to do any safety hazard stuff. And it's just too much. We'll just, when it pops up, when it gets up again, we'll just have to find it. And I'm like, that's how are we going to find it? And they're like, shouldn't we put a GPS? People actually in the company talked about this and they were let go. They were fired. So shouldn't we have a GPS when it hits? And it's like, no, we'll find them. We're pretty good at this stuff. And they're like, what? So the people that work, these engineers that work for the company, you'll never be able to find it. This is the ocean. This little this Atlantic thing is pretty big, and it took them a while to even find the Titanic in the first place. But these people are like, no, we don't need a GPS or any monitors or any sound, and we'll be able to see it. It's white. It's in the ocean. How hard could that be? And everyone's like, oh my God. So they fired
I think it was the second dive that they did where one of the propellers to move the vessel forward was installed backwards.
Jesus.
So to move forward, they then had to turn the controller sideways. And they're like, just go with it. Just turn it sideways, and that's how you steer.
My God, they're jury rigging even at the beginning. They said at one of the dives that they went down on that they totally lost communications with the vessel. And then once again, a person came forward and says, shouldn't we have maybe some sort of protection, maybe a new frequency, a second backup radio? And they're like, what are you talking about? That's too much money. So they fired that person too. Every person that raised any question about anything, they fired. And you're just like, well, that doesn't sound very safe. They didn't care about safety. And that's what was so impressive. The engineers talked to the CEO because he wanted to make money really quick into getting on the ship, the little submarine. And he's like, I promise you, I'm getting on there. Yeah, that was a... can you imagine the next person? Hey, you want to be CEO? Oh, I'm busy. Yeah, I don't feel so confident about being CEO anymore, even though it's going to be a big pay raise. Yeah, I got softball on the weekends. What do you say that I don't trust you guys anymore? You just quit. But
what if we upgrade the controller to a name brand controller?
Instead
of a aftermarket,
the PlayStation 1 controller, we're going to go with PlayStation 5 controller. How does that sound? What if we put some seats in it this time with not like the stadium seats? We're talking a back to the seat where you can swivel around maybe. Well, what about that? And they're just what about a baseball cap and a t-shirt and a backpack? We'll get you a coin like in the military and shit. We just need you to go down on one dive, the next dive, just to show that it's safe. But everyone said it wasn't safe. No. Don't trust them. That's fake news. No, all the scientist people, fake. And so I'd be like, no, I think I trust the engineer that you guys fired, the 5 engineers you guys fired. It's just like, fuck, that doesn't sound good. So there's this new thing. This is brilliant. So I heard about this years ago. The Russian gangsters, brilliant. These little, we'll call them the Russian mafia. They're just so intelligent. So not like the Mexican cartels just don't have it down like these people. So they were hiding. They would send them over this these tankers full of like ships full of this blue, how would you call it? Mechanical gradient type stuff that they use to clean automotive parts, and it's very caustic, it's poisonous, and they're sending it all over. But in that, they hid like, let's say there's 1 million gallons, they hid like 350 million gallons, 350,000 gallons of vodka. Then they would get it over here and they would withdraw it chemically because they're fucking scientists. These people aren't stupid. It's not like, in Arkansas when they were chasing moonshine around in the back of the woods like Dukes of Hazzard in the back of their truck, and Uncle Jesse would get in the way of the truck, and all of a sudden the Roscoe P. Coltrane got into the ditch, and all of a sudden the Dukes of Hazzard boys are, "Boo, yeah, we got it, boys," and all of a sudden these are fucking smart people, they're doing science. So this newest thing though, a drug syndicate hid crystal meth in Canadian maple syrup and canola oil bound for Australia.
What?
How brilliant is that? So whatever gang this was, I don't know who it was, but they were like, man, they're fucking smart. So these people were putting it in the maple syrup. Who's going to fucking check maple syrup? Oh, it tastes a little funny because maple syrup is kind of pungent, but the canola oil, who's going to test that too? And it's in legit bottles, and they're willing to go all out. And someone had to, in the inside, had to frickin' turn them in. Can you imagine your buddy turning you in?
Well, they just caught China. I mean, what we've known for a long time is China ships the chemicals to Mexico to make all the drugs.
The fentanyl. Yeah, I heard about that. Like the Mexican or drug cartels are helping them out, making the factories, and they'll help make the fentanyl down in Mexico. So they just ship hey, we didn't do it. We just shipped some chemicals. We didn't know that this chemical.
They're even teaching them how to do it so they can profit more.
It sounds like Breaking Bad, and they send Jesse down to Mexico to teach him. No, if you don't have I'm not cooking unless you have the right chemicals.
Oh, so messed up.
Oh my God. So that's why these people in Congress, these little Republican people, are talking about invading Mexico. And Lopez Obrador said, if you invade us, we're going to literally shut down all communication. You're not going to get a thing out of us. You're not going to invade our country just because you want to get a little political upswing. And he even was so put out. He says you know what? Maybe if you hugged your kids more like we do in Mexico, you wouldn't have the problems, because we don't have a problem with drugs in Mexico. You have a problem with drugs in America because you don't hug your kids. Oh my God, the Americans didn't know what to say. They're like, well, you're right. We don't hug our kids anymore. Because it's a good, I'm serious. Mexico has the best family. They have a really good family base. And let me just for full transparency, I became a Mexican October 5th, 2022, so I do believe their families are better, but I can't speak Spanish that well. Un poquito español, lo siento. That's all about I know. And I can say a chicken, I can do charades, like, bark, and then I do my arms in a flapping motion, and they say, oh, pollo. And so that's how I learn. I just charade it out, and then they say words. I'm like, I remember those words next time. Anyways, oh my gosh. So the Chinese are shipping it over, teaching them how to make it, and they're making fentanyl. Oh, they got a new thing out. I heard about this the other day that I was talking to some people in the ambulance. The Tranq, TRANQ. It's fentanyl mixed with horse tranquilizer. Because if the fentanyl wasn't enough, this shit will kill you. This is good shit.
What?
This is fucking. They showed people on TV just totally couldn't even talk, just passing out in the chair on the street and then die. And fucking, it's strong. And see, this is I've been so innocent my whole life. How come I couldn't fucking party with those kind of people? You know what I'm saying? Just fucking just come back with a rager and talk about 13 people died at the party last night. It was so cool. There's all these movies. You see these Project X. It was a teenage party movie where these teens had not only alcohol, they had a bouncy castle and the little dog was hopping up. They took the dad's car. It was like a Maserati or something, and they fucking threw it in the pool. They drove it in the pool, and they had a flamethrower out there. I'm like, we're talking epic party, Project X, the movie. But it was based on teenagers, not college kids. College kids I could see, but every movie you see in high school is weird science, or these kids, these high school kids getting hold of alcohol and doing marijuana. The parents are away and they destroy the house. And I'm like, I never, ever, ever knew anyone to have parties like that. In California and Arkansas, there'd be some ass whoopings going down back in the day. Your day, I think, was easier. I don't think you could have gotten much trouble. I don't know. Did you ever have those kind of parties?
I don't remember.
Oh my God. Oh my. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right. I was your age once. I know everything you've done because I did it too. Probably 3 or 4 times as worse. And then that's why the parents are always so scared. That's why parents are always so scared. Like, you better not go out on Saturday night. I know what goes on. No, mother, father, I would never do that. We're going to a prayer church group, a Bible study about Colossians 2:14. Yeah, right. Well,
those are the worst.
Well, I know. My friend in high school, Paul, his father was a Church of Christ preacher, and he was the worst. Jesus. There was this guy in California got convicted of illegally importing an ancient mosaic from Syria. First of all, this guy from Palmdale, 56-year-old Muhammad Yassin Al-Chiri, which doesn't sound too Californian, but he went over to Syria. I guess he's from there. And he stole this great big, like, mosaic. He had I don't know how he smuggled that in because it's like fucking 30 feet by 50 feet. But he brought it back, and it's worth, like, a lot of money. And he said it was, it's just a loaf of bread. You know, he totally lied. And they're like, this doesn't look like a loaf of bread. And so he got caught, and he's going to jail now. And I'm like, damn. That's some balls right there. But I guess enough people have stolen stuff from Egypt, Syria, anywhere, Iran, anywhere in the world over there. There's something in the desert under the sand. They'll sell it back in America or England or Europe because the billionaires will be like, oh my gosh, I need that. Jesus.
Yep.
And so I don't understand. There's somewhere in Massachusetts, kind of a liberal state, the law enforcement wants to solve crimes. So they want to collect DNA samples to aid the police in identifying human remains and stuff like that and trying to figure out crimes. And now the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, some type of group that's doesn't want anything done. So they're trying to stop it. First, they want to use DNA to get people out of prison that have committed crimes. Now they're saying, no, we don't want any DNA used unless we pick how we use it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just let the police do their job the best they can, get the DNA, identify the people that died, and see maybe they could solve some crimes along the way. But come on, let's not be total jerks about everything. Jesus Christ. If you have to rename fucking the bacon and shit. Just like, let it go, people. Let it go. Now, this is one that this lady had to look ultra fine. She's a 28-year-old Asian lady accused of posing as a Louisiana high school student. She posed to be as 17 so she could study English. And then she got in trouble. Her mother and her got arrested. They're going to be in big trouble now. And I'm like, just to study frickin' English. I give her deep props. Like, I'm deep. I mean, that's fucking someone that really wants to learn English. Can you imagine, like, going to high school and starting over and having to deal with all these petty shit? And she's just, like, super quiet, 17-year-old. And Asian ladies look so young, you can't tell. Like, she just, I guess, been really pretty and quiet and just wore a hoodie or something. But fuck, let her go. Come on. She just wanted to learn. It's not like she was stealing or dating boys. She just wanted to learn English. Like, that's fuck. Can you imagine having to go back to high school and get treated like crap again?
Oh, Jesus.
You see? I wouldn't fucking do that shit. I'd fucking go do anything. I'd hire someone just to fucking pay me, just to teach me English and stuff. I'm like, Jesus. Oh, my God. There's this one guy. It's a Mexican diver. He, like, he dives off, like, these 50-foot things and does, like, triple backflips and hits the water. He can't afford to go to the Olympics because some of these countries aren't like America where they give them billions and millions to, study and do that and fucking eat the proper diets and all that shit. This guy's going on OnlyFans. He created an account.
Oh, no.
And I don't know what OnlyFans does, but I'm just going to say it's not going to be a...
No.
His parents won't be necessarily proud of him. Maybe they didn't hug him enough, but he's going to do some stuff. He's going to wear small bathing suits, they're saying, and show off his body and trying to get enough money so he could get to the Olympics. The Paris Olympics is what he's going for. And so he's going to leap off a different platform is what they're showing and take off all his clothes.
Well, wait, how much money is he planning on making?
Well, enough to get the Olympics and a little extra, maybe buy some extra shorts that he tore off. No, I don't know. Because Mexico only gives them one pair of shorts. That's it. You get one pair of swimming trunks, and after 4 years, they look pretty ragged. And he's already showing his private area, so it's probably not going to be too much of a. So they're going to see everything on OnlyFans. This fucking thing is like after you go through so much chlorine, you hit in the water at 50 miles per hour, it just starts to degrade. It's going to be a woo boy. But the guy has like ripped abs. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, abs. He's a 6-pack for sure. It's fucking this guy is ripped. And so it'll take no time for him to raise the $100 he needs. No, just kidding. $100. The Mexican government won't even give him $100. He's like going on OnlyFans to like prostitute himself visually. Like he will do anything. Oh my God. There's this bus in Poland, and it rides to the town of Hel. And the actual bus number is 666. So all these Americans and Europeans always try to get on this bus to hell. And the bus is 666. So they get on there and they try to drink beer and they get drugged. And they're like, oh my God, we're going to hell. Let's party. And so these Americans, Christian conservatives are out of their mind that there's a bus that goes to hell and people are having fun. And so they're like, oh, hell no, we're shutting this shit down. This is not against God's rights or righteousness. And so they're like, so they got rid of it. But my God. And it's only one L. It's not even two L's. Not even HE double hockey sticks. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't even say the word hell in school. So like, oh boy. So there's this woman they declared dead in Ecuador because their medical system is not as good as ours. Yeah, she's 76. So she declared her dead, and all of a sudden in her wake, the family's there, and she woke up.
Started banging on the coffin.
She's like, the coffin wasn't even closed. They didn't open casket, and she just popped up. It's like, hey, what's going on here? Now they have a government investigation. Like, who's the doctor? Oh yeah, Doctor Ruiz. He's drunk again. You know, like, hey, see, I got the voice right this time. But Jesus Christ, like, don't you think like you would like feel the pulse, maybe listen to the heart? I don't know. I'm in medicine, and that's my general stuff is we gotta make sure they're dead. Just because they're pale doesn't mean they're not dead. Yeah, the neighbor said she's dead. That's good enough for me. Let's sign it. Fuck. Can you imagine if they would have buried her alive? Note to self: do not go to Ecuador. You know those horror movies? It really
it happens.
Oh, it just takes once, and all of a sudden you'll never forget that.
That's where they got the idea from the mummy, where he was buried alive and there were claw marks on the inside.
Oh my God.
They actually found claw marks on the inside of,
oh my God,
stuff like that.
Jesus, that would bother me more. There was some Ryan Reynolds film where he was underground. I thought it'd be stupid, but it was actually really like riveting. He had a cell phone that was running out, and he was buried, and he had to tell someone, "I'm under the dirt," and they end up finding it. Like, I don't know how they did it. I feel a vibration under the dirt. It's like last thing I remember, I was above ground. They fucking find him.
And now I'm underground.
So there was this place in New Hampshire called Mount Washington. And they set the record for the most snow in June. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm in Colorado right now, and we've had more rain and snow this year for this summer than I've ever seen in like 10 years. Like, it's a lot. Are you guys noticing more in Arkansas?
Not really, no. I mean, it might rain a little bit more, but it's still super hot.
Oh, so you guys aren't feeling the... So there was this British guy that they arrested after he climbed, with no ropes, a 72-floor building in Seoul, Korea, a skyscraper. He just climbed it on his own. Like, it was the right building, of course, and there was enough places to hold on to, but he could have fallen off at any time and killed himself. So I often wonder, like, and it was 123 stories, 1,820 feet tall, and it was freaking, man, just the wind alone could have blown him off. And I often wonder, like, if he falls, are they worried about him hurting other people and not just himself? Like, that's why they arrested him? To try to prevent people from doing that shit? Like, just a mess. So evidently some Indonesia. Like, I feel so bad for these Indonesians. Like, they're just trying to get along. But some Australian guy who's a surfer went over there, and he literally got so drunk, he started, because he can't handle his alcohol like most Australians. So he literally, starts just attacking people. Oh, and he happened to be naked. And
What?
oh, he went to the one province in Indonesia that's strictly super deeply conservative Muslim province of Aceh. Aceh? Aceh? I don't know how to say it. Aceh? But anyways, so he goes to the one province to just intentionally piss him off. He gets so stinking drunk that he takes off his clothes and he starts assaulting people. I don't know if he was assaulting them with his ghibli bits, tallywhacker, or was he like fisting him and then smacking him with the tallywhacker? I don't know what he was doing, but he got arrested and he pissed him off. And then they had to send him back, and he's not allowed back in Indonesia anymore. I'm like, Australians need to they can't handle their alcohol. Like, they don't have the experience. They're a mess. And this is why Britain took all those criminals and people that couldn't handle their alcohol, and they sent them to Australia. And now they're down on this little island, and now that they're down there, it's like a prison colony. It's like Escape from New York, Escape from L.A. It's like, just like an island. We put them all there. And now all the Aussies, as soon as they take a half a sip of Diet Coke, they start doing bad things. Not even alcohol. It could just be a remnant of a benzene, a chain of anything that resembles alcohol, and they get drunk and they can't handle themselves. The only person that came out of Australia, I think, that we really respect is, what was his name? Australia, down under, Crocodile Dundee.
Steve Irwin?
Crocodile Dundee is the only person that came from Australia that we respect in America. Everyone else, I don't know. That's a mess. Australia is just, oh my gosh.
Isn't the Wolverine actor from Australia?
Like I said, the only person we respect.
Several actors.
Like I said, the only person that has any validity to be in America is Crocodile Dundee. The rest of them are hacks and jokes. And Gerard Butler. Who else is there? I don't know. He's British. I can't tell. They're British and Australian. They just took the drunkards and couldn't handle their alcohol and was just misbehaving. And they sent them down to Australia. Now they're trying to infiltrate America. Oh my God, the Australians are here. We need to get like some sort of border control. It's just these actors are just flooding us just to get to Hollywood. They don't have a Hollywood in Australia. You know that? There's no movies. I don't even think they have TVs over there. They have to come to America to experience TVs and radios. Just kidding.
Well,
I know.
a lot of Americans actually go to Australia during the winter because it's actually summer during our winter. Just to escape the cold.
There's this thing called something Hollywood Hills, where these two short guys that are Jewish, they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They're like legit, and they hire all these pretty ladies, and they sell houses like left and right. $20 million here, $10 million here, $5 million. So it's like a little escaping. Anyways, there's the same thing in Australia. There's these little people that sell houses, and they get these attractive people to sell the houses for them. So there's this place called Bondi, Bondi, Bondi Beach. Oh my God, it's just this short little like strip, like 100 feet long. Every person in the world wants to live there. So these houses are like $30 million for like 1,200 square feet. I'm like, what? And they're selling them left and right because everyone has to, you know how we keep up with the Joneses in America? Well, he got a Ford Raptor. I'm going to get me a Chevy Silverado. And so we're always trying to, and so they have every car you can think of, and they're just like trying to sell that shit. It's just that oh my God, they need to cut down on the alcohol. They can't handle it. They just need to stick to the surfing without alcohol, and I think it'll be safer. You know, that's why, come to think of it, that's why they get so drunk. They're dismantling that big reef down there because they get all drunk and they want to take a piece off when they get drunk. And the sharks are like, oh my God. The sharks get so irritated because the sharks don't care. The sharks are just like, they have nothing against humans. I've seen Finding Nemo, but as soon as they get so drunk, they get like so irritated because the surfers are trying to mess with the sharks. They're like, fine then. They just go eat the drunk people. And now I see why there's more deaths by sharks in Australia because they can't control themselves with alcohol. The sharks get pissed. They eat them. It's a little snack. Even the sharks like throw it up because there's too much alcohol. They don't like sharks. They don't like alcohol. I think that's kind of funny though, Australians. Because every Australian tries to drink a lot of Fosters. That's all they drink. They don't drink any other beer in the world. There's no Bud Light for them. It's just Fosters. I think it's illegal to drink anything but Fosters in Australia. So there's this person in Florida. They call him Dr. Deep. He resurfaces after being underwater for 100 days, living underwater. He's a professor. Just wanted to prove he could do it in the Florida Keys. I just want to know, because he's in a suit and all that, does he have like a little, like it's a onesie where he can unsnap some stuff to do his business and it just like floats, the brown and yellow floats into the water? And then like, how does he eat? I guess like he'd undo his mask and put something in real quick and then put the mask back on and start to chew? Or does he hold his breath? Like, oh, what the, I guess he broke a record, but it just doesn't sound like, everyone will be like, oh, that's nice, and go back to their business. Like, no one's ever going to remember this guy. I don't know. And would you get a rash because it's all salty under there and you can't wipe with anything? So or if you do wipe, it goes, all of a sudden there's all these wet wipes showing up on the beach that are brown, like, Mommy, look what I found. Look what I found. And the kid's like, oh my God, it's a note. It's running all over.
Quick, preserve it. It must be from Dr. Deep.
Oh, this is a sad story. So I feel bad. In Minnesota, this truck tips over, and all of a sudden, like, there's 1,000 pigs running all over the highway. And oh my God, it's in Minnesota, so there's probably no traffic up there because not too many people can afford a car. And so it's Interstate 694. So they're just little Canada, Minnesota. So it's, oh my God, it's really high up there. But it's, my God, the little pigs, poor pigs. The one truck that can afford to go through there, and it tips over. I guess the roads are so bad they can't afford to like fix them. So the truck just overturned because the potholes were just, and he was going like 25. He just overturns, the pig gets loose, and now all of a sudden you have like oh my God. I can see all these Minnesota people. What are those things? It's an alien invasion. They're here to probe us. Jesus.
Down here in Arkansas, they're everywhere.
Pigs?
Well, they're called razorbacks. They're like wild
razorback.
pigs.
That's the state pig suey. When I was in high school, they made us say that, pig suey. Every morning, instead of doing the national anthem and having a prayer, they would make us do like some Arkansas razorback song. And then at the end, they had to pig suey, 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 suey. It's just an Arkansas thing. They cared more about football.
Unlike the farm, like pinkish looking bald pigs, these are all hairy and have tusks on them, and they are aggressive.
I think I did.
So if anybody sees one, they're like, quick, shoot it, put it down. Like, that's just the thing here in the South. They're a nuisance.
Swear to God, I'm not going to lie right now. This is the dead facts right now. I think I did it a girl just like that in high school. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
Mary Sue, is that you? I can't tell. Hairy, big fangs, and just aggressive. See, that's how they are in Arkansas. No. Oh my God.
Several people who are like, they're like, come out shooting pigs with us. You can turn one into some, what is that? The jerky. You can turn the whole thing into jerky.
That actually sounds good, jerky. Don't tell the making bacon people. They'll lose their minds. Oh, my God. So,
well, what would you do with 100 pounds of jerky? That'll last years.
I know, and you save it and you eat it forever. And that's why people go on jerky diets. And that's why Arkansas has a high rate of heart attacks. Cholesterol issues. Yeah, I've been eating. Do you smoke? None at all. Well, what's your diet like? Well, I eat beef jerky. I eat a razorback jerky. And I'm like, how much you eat a day? About 5 pounds. We got to eat it. We have so much of it.
Just between meals.
And so there's these really rich people in D.C. We're going to call them like senators and congressmen, like super rich people, right? And so there's this neighborhood where a young black bear wanders into Washington, D.C., and it sparked a frenzy before being captured. Just like 4 hours of hell. People are in their houses, and it's a little black bear. It's like weighs 100 pounds. It's like a baby, but he escaped from Mama Bear, and he's just wandering around, and people lost their shit because these people, they don't even allow cats and dogs up in D.C. They're like so fucking like rich and shit. They're like, oh my God, there's a bear. They were probably trying to take selfies with it before the bear just got pissed off. See, at least it didn't kill anyone. I see these people looking out their window calling them, oh my God, there's 100,000 calls to 911. There's a bear. I heard it. There's a bear. There's these, there's these giant, I don't know what Japan has with this rubber ducky thing, but they have two inflatable rubber duckies that are like 40 feet by 60 feet long. They're fucking huge, and they're in the harbor. And someone thought it'd be funny that they deflate them, and oh my God, it made a huge, people are like crying and shit. Giant inflatable ducks make a splash in Hong Kong as a pop art project returns after 10 years, but they deflated. So now it's like people losing their shit. They're trying to inflate it again. People are out there blowing in straws. And the Chinese people are super tiny, so it's going to take many more of them. Americans only take about 2 of us. It's like going on a camping trip, just blowing up that mattress and shit. But these, oh my God, these things are huge.
Well, out in Chicago, they have the duck derby. They release like 75,000 rubber ducks at a time. And you have to, like, it's like the lottery. You buy one and put your name on it, kind of thing.
And if it finishes first,
the first one to get to the, yep. I don't know what you win or what happens, but
just get a free pizza. There was oh my God, that's stupid. There's this Florida player, Brandon Montour, streaks home for birth of child between Stanley Cup final games. I'm like, really? There's people in the NFL that have like 3 kids while they're on the field for the Super Bowl. They're not going, you know what I'm saying? Like 3 different women, like they're, and this hockey player between fucking Stanley Cup games, he's like, he went to go see his child. I'm like, fuck, he's a millionaire. He gets a private jet, takes it back, and he's back the next hour. I'm like, come on. As if people have babies all the time. There's military people that get deployed that have kids overseas, and these, all of a sudden, this hockey player is a hero. I'm like, come on, I fucking don't buy that. I'm just like, they put too much, oh my God, a rich person had to suffer a little. They fucking didn't have a hard life. If that's the only thing they're like having to write about, like, yeah. Yeah, not a good.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to sports news because it's all just like,
someone got arrested, hell? Someone did what?
Yeah.
So up in Finland, there's this thing in which they fine you. This guy got a ticket, and they gave him $129,544 fine based on his income because he's super wealthy. He's like a millionaire in Finland. And so they base the calculation off an offender's income. So if you only made $30,000, you'd only get like a $5 ticket. And so they fucking stuck it to him. And now he's like, this is no fair. And yeah, what do you do? That would suck. I heard someone in the news today talking about this person. They want, was it Wisconsin or what? But this person that works for the gas industry for the state, he wants to attach something in your car where you don't get charged for how much gas you use, the guzzle. It's how far you go. And if they start doing that, oh, you went 15 miles? Yeah, we're going to have to charge you $100. And so people are just like, we've done it for 100 years, over 100 years. We put gas in our car, and how much you spend is what you know. If you have a gas guzzler, like what's that big car called, that military vehicle? A Hummer? Hummer 3, Hummer 2, Hummer 1? If you get a Hummer, then you have to pay the same amount, but they're going to screw you over. I think we just leave it the way it is, and that way it's fair, and we don't feel like we're getting screwed over by the government. They're just trying to make more money off us because people aren't spending as much at the pumps, and that's less tax revenue for the state. So these people are trying to come up with clever ways on how to stick it to the people. The people. I sound like some revolutionist. Stick it to the people. Now, this is when
America. It feels like the whole country's just stressed and not making enough money. It's a shit show.
And things cost more now. That's what stresses people out. So there's this. This is like when they're so desperate in Alabama for stories that the Alabama governor signs legislation naming the Yellowhammer cookie as the official state cookie. First of all, I've never fucking knew any state had a fucking cookie. Like, what is Arkansas' state cookie?
A biscuit.
Let's find out. Arkansas
with some gravy on it.
Cookie. The state cookie of Arkansas is the peanut butter with chocolate chips cookie.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Look at you. You're gaining.
It turned me into a foodie down here.
Oh, it doesn't. We don't have an official one. We just have the mints and Samoas. We're just Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, we don't have an official Colorado.
Mm.
What are we known for? Palisades peaches. I don't even know what that is. Oh my God.
Ooh.
What is food is special to us? Rocky Mountain oysters. Oh, Jesus. It doesn't sound good. I just know it's something to do with, green chili. That's cool. Colorado lamb. I don't even know we have lambs here, so that's not very. A Rocky Ford
Green
cantaloupe.
chili. That's from New Mexico. The green chili.
That's what I thought, but evidently it's a favorite here. I guess we smuggle it up like drugs. We smuggle up the green chilies. So this is weird. Some woman walking in California on a beach, she finds an ancient mastodon tooth and loses her mind. And this thing's fucking huge. And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you. This thing's like maybe 500,000-600,000 years old. How come no one else ever found this? This seems like a 3D printing thing. Like she just printed it up or something just to make some money. Like I just don't buy that. Like all of a sudden, like you trip over something, and in which there's over 100,000 people that go to the beach a year in California, and like she's the one that found it. She had to get it from somewhere else and bring it in, so she didn't get in trouble from stealing it from someone's yard. So
That's what I would have done in the Pennsylvania gold find. Where a guy was like, I found the missing gold. The FBI was like, show us. Please, where is it? It was on federal land. So then they knew it until the FBI was like, thank you for finding our misplaced gold.
Oh my
We'll take that
God.
now.
He had to give it all back.
And yeah, he didn't see a cent. They took it all.
You know what I would have done? And this sounds so selfish and mean. I would have melted it down into little ingots and taken it somewhere, and they would have never known what kind of gold it was. Because they're not gonna look for and put some impurities in it yourself to mix them up, and so you don't make as much. But you're still gonna make millions if it's a big thing of gold. But my God, I just feel bad. Yeah. Well, he broke the law in the first place, so he deserves what he gets. But you know how I told you that story about the pigs in Minnesota? Well, there's this pissed off trucker in a place called Denmark. He gets super pissed off, so he starts dropping a load of potatoes on a key bridge linked to 2 Danish islands. He dropped so many that he got arrested for causing reckless endangerment to life, because it's going to take him a long time to get all the potatoes off the road to safely drive, because these people aren't good drivers up in the snow and all that. So he's in trouble. It's summertime right now, so it's not as cold up there, but he dropped so many potatoes, he's going to jail. And I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know what a Denmark jail is, but it doesn't sound, they get weird up there in their jails. What? What the fuck? A beloved New York swan. The babies are rescued after the mother was eaten by a family. Damn, you're poor in New York when you're fucking eating things out of a lake. Jesus Christ.
People eat things out of rivers and lakes here.
So you're in Arkansas, you know. Crawdads to Church of Christ and the Baptist, they're pretty big up in Arkansas and Tennessee. So these a truckload of organ pipes was going to these churches, and they stole them. Some guy thought it'd be funny to steal them, and so then I guess they felt guilty. So they never found out who did it, but they returned all the Penske trucks with the 2,000 organ pipes in them, and because it was coming from a company from Boston, and the person left the keys in the car. Idiot! You don't let Jimmy go out with the fucking keys. You hire, Dave, who's 40 years of age, not Jimmy, who's 17. I'd never driven a truck before. I don't know what a stick shift is. And all fucking, they steal the organ pipes. These people in church have no pretty music anymore. They're just having to sing a cappella, and that's just not going to cut it, because these people have no teeth, and it just doesn't sound as good without an organ pipe. Fertility doctor accused of using his own sperm dies in a crash of a hand-built plane. He probably got what he deserved to. Doing stuff like that, shit, hand-built plane. I bet those women went out there and they took a few of those 12 to 14 bolts out that they were supposed to use on the the little submarine, and they took them out of his plane too, and he crashed. You don't piss off a woman. That's what I'm saying.
I bet it was carbon fiber too.
Too soon?
Oh.
There's this thing over in the UK, I guess the Big Island, where people have this super steep hill where you can barely walk down it, but they throw this, it's called rolling thunder. They take a huge wheel of cheese, like 4 foot tall and 3 foot wide, and they roll it down this hill, and people have to chase it. And all it shows is a picture of no one can stand up after the first 5 feet, and they just start rolling like the cheese. And they literally break bones, and it's just like a mess. But that's what they do for fun over there. I mean, I guess we watch football games, so it's just as violent, except we're not fucking rolling down a hill breaking our bones. Like, I guess if you're in a stand and you're an opposing football team, you say something about the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to get hit upside the head. But, it's just the violence. Or the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, or used to be the Oakland Raiders, but now they moved to Vegas and they're much nicer. They got a new stadium, so they're not angry anymore. But the Philadelphia Eagles, their stadium is just crap, so they get super angry. They have 2 judges in the actual stadium so they can dispense justice on the spot because they allow alcohol, and those Philadelphia people can't handle alcohol either, evidently, because they fucking go to jail. Straight from the stadium, going to jail, 3 days. Fuck, can you imagine? I didn't show up to work because I went to a Philly game. I got arrested again. Now, Jimmy, I told you can't go to the games anymore because you drink too much. Yeah, but I couldn't after I had that hot dog. And when I say hot dog, I don't mean to piss off the people against making bacon, but when you go to a game, you eat hot dogs. Like, it's a baseball game, a football game. Their hot dogs are the best.
Oh, yeah, that was the classic thing. I went to a New York Yankees stadium with a couple friends when I was in New York. And oh my God, we had hot dogs, beer. We got so drunk. I don't even like sports, but I was trash talking the other team with them. I don't even remember what I said. I'm probably on camera somewhere.
So there's this place called India in New Delhi. New Delhi is the name of the city. So there's this guy. He's actually an official of the city, and the town suspended him because he took a selfie and he dropped his phone in the actual reservoir. And so he drained the entire reservoir so that the city had no water so he could get his cell phone back. And he found a cell phone, but he got in trouble. Evidently, it wasn't that much of a smartphone. Jesus, idiot. Taking a selfie. That's when selfies go bad. So there's this place in Connecticut, and they have the best cupcakes in the world, evidently, because this bear breaks in, because I guess they don't lock the doors up in Connecticut, and he literally just opens the door, and and the employees are still there. They're there in the morning making all the cupcakes. But he came in, and he ate 60 cupcakes, because they're the fucking best cupcakes in the world. And the town was like just spellbound. They're just like, they were out, I guess, loading the cakes into the van. And so he snuck in the front door and just ate them. And while they were loading, and just like not the smartest people in the world, I guess. And just like, oh my God, the bear walks out and there's all this white frosting around its mouth. They look over at the counter and all the cupcakes are gone. They're like, I think that bear ate our, this is Connecticut, I'm using the wrong. I think the bear ate our cupcakes. And they're just like, Jesus Christ. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. Just like, maybe you'd, when as a kid is like, you should look both ways before you cross the street. You should close the door as you're loading up cupcakes. Just like, I don't know. Call me crazy. I think too much of the world is not that smart of a place.
No, you'd be surprised up in Alaska when I worked at a bakery. They're like, don't leave this door open because a moose might get in here again. I'm like, whoa, again? What happened? I'm like, yeah, if you leave this open, apparently moose like sugar. So moose got in their storage area and ate up like a whole, like half of a 50-pound bag of sugar.
What? Damn, that's a sugar munchie right there. So they're taking a look at the Danish masters, like these people from up there up north in Europe. Their paintings, they found a bunch of beer in the actual paintings when they were looking at, like, what did they use? They were using beer to kind of to gloss the paintings over of these ships. And so a lot of the Dutch masters, like the painters that used 326 different layers, like spit, blood, anything, and they found beer as another medium. But anyways, these people have a three-dimensional, that's when I was over in Europe, I realized what real painting was. When you can spend a year and a half on a painting because it looks three-dimensional. And so beer, urine, blood, and spit, and egg whites, they used everything they could to like give it a different look than the other masters had, because they were always trying to compete with who's the better painting, the painter. But that was interesting.
The latest news I was trying to keep up with was there was a psychedelic conference in Denver, and I'm like, oh geez, I'll bet you went to that.
Oh my God, no, those people are crazy.
Record-breaking kaleidoscope sales.
Well, yeah, that's funny. Now you got me thinking I want a kaleidoscope because I collect rocks and shit. But damn, they have all this the new rage now. besides the trank of killing yourself, the new rage for PTSD and to get rid of pain is to give people this cat disassociative drug called ketamine. Now, if you've been around a few years, you would know that people in something called a rave, RAVE, where young people get together and use pacifiers and glow in the dark shit, turn off the lights, and then they get this, what's that music called? Techno. No, not techno.
EDM.
EDM. What did you used to call it? There was something else you called it, that music you listened to. Trance. Was it trance?
Yeah, it's kind of trance.
So anyways, they just get this unsa, the German rave techno going, and you get the dark. And so people use ketamine to experiment, and then they'd suck on a baby pacifier, and they'd like swing these glow in the dark ropes around, and like unsa, and all night long. And then all of a sudden they pass out, and they're dressed in furry costumes when they wake up. They're all dressed as cats and shit and rabbits, and they don't know what happened, and it's just a mess. Just young people. But yeah, that's the new.
Happens to the best of us.
So once again, Drew, have you ever dressed up in a furry costume? Allegedly.
I mean, I own some onesies just for fun. But now it sounds crazy.
Now, there was this man in Illinois, and he didn't have a drive, and he couldn't get a ride by an Uber because he couldn't afford it. So he's down and low on his luck, and he just needs to get on this flight. I don't know how he afforded the plane flight, but anyways, he steals something called a backhoe, which is not known, and he drives 10 miles. But this backhoe is not known for being stealthy, fast, or aerodynamic. So somehow he makes it there, and he catches the flight. But he just left it at the airport parking lot, and they found it. And they're like, what? How'd it get here? Yeah, the aliens must have done it. Fuck. They blame everything on the aliens, Jesus. And so, yeah, he did it. No one on the highway thought to, this guy's going to the airport. I guess he's just a construction worker. Let him go. And he looked legit. Jesus. Oh, boy, this is a messed up one. So this is a German surgeon. He needed some help in the operating room and just thought it'd be funny if he called over the hospital cleaner who was kind of slow, and he was doing a surgical procedure, taking someone's toe off, and he let the hospital cleaner guy cut it off. And so the surgeon got fired because you can't have people that aren't trained to do this kind of stuff just for fun. Because it's kind of like surgery and stuff, and yeah, it's just not cool. I wonder if Hans would like to cut off the toe today. He's been taking out the trash for a long time. Call Hans over. Yeah, and they didn't find it too funny. They're like, oh, but Hans got to do something special today. Yeah, but Hans's IQ's a little low. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck. I could see why they did it. Like, so there's this guy. There's this movie back before you were born. It was called The Wizard of Oz. It's like made in the 1930s or something. And there's this lady on there. She tapped her heels together to get back to Kansas or something. I don't know why you want to go back there, but there's like some big hurricane or tornado that took her away in the center of this land called Oz. We call it California today. But this guy stole the ruby slippers, which are basically just, what do you call it? A little sequins on some shoes that look real shiny for the movie. Anyways, he got in trouble, and the grand jury is pressing charges, and he'll probably go to jail for the rest of his life. It sounds horrible. There's like rapists that get out in 3 years, but people do stupid shit and get like 120 years. Like, I don't understand how people. That was a police officer evidently in the wrong yard at the wrong time, and he pissed off some bees. So the whole swarm, the whole little beehive said, alert, alert, there's a piggy in our area. So they stung him in the face. So he got hospitalized. Maybe you shouldn't go on people's properties, Mr. Police Officer. And so, yeah, that was in Los Angeles. That would be like instead of a dog, you just have a bunch of bees around. And when you piss them off, I don't know what he was doing, but he got into the bee area. He just started eating. Maybe he's a big fat officer and he started eating honey or something. No, I don't know. Jesus, these are. Now people are so pissed off. There's this place called Cheyenne, Wyoming, and they're trying to trademark this thing called Taco Tuesday. And so Taco Bell is in a fight with some Taco Johns because they've always called it Taco Tuesdays, and now they're going to court over, you can't call it Taco Tuesdays because we've been calling it Taco Tuesdays. It gets rather ridiculous when you're not allowed to use, like, you trademark everything. Like, you shouldn't be able to trademark things like that, like words. Come on. That's ridiculous.
Meanwhile, Mexico is like, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing I forgot to tell you. The number one country in the world, obviously, that eats more tacos than anyone else is Mexico, right? Fact. What's the number two country in the world that eats tacos? You'll never guess. Never, ever in 100 years, you'll never guess this one.
China?
Unless you looked it up online. Nope. It's not America. It's not China. This country has Taco Fridays every Friday. Norway. Norway has fish tacos. What? See? It's not even the type taco you were thinking of, but it's still, nonetheless, it's a taco. And so they eat more tacos than America. And I was thinking, because Mexico is next to America, their food is so influential that we eat more Mexican food than I think than any other food. Italian, anything else you can think of. It's Mexican food is so good. But the Norway, I would never, first of all, have a fish taco, but I don't remember when I was up there of them eating tacos. So I thought that was really unique. And so these people, and I've always, I don't understand why these people do this, but there's this Italian police dog who's really good sniffing. Like his job is to sniff out drugs and stuff. So these drug dealers, evidently not as smart as the ones that were shipping it in the maple syrup of the Russians. These people aren't as smart. So they put their cocaine in a bunch of bananas. And the dog's like, ruff, ruff. And so they find it. And I've often wondered, like, why not put the cocaine in a bag? I'm talking a really super strong Ziploc baggie. Wash it with chemicals on the outside and then tape it up and put another plastic bag around it. Wash it with chemicals again to get rid of any smell and put some pungent smell in there. And then, like, why are you putting it, like, open canisters, or you just shut it with a jar? Like, what are these people thinking? Like, the dogs can't smell through if you've cleansed it with something else.
They can smell through things. Like, even if you seal it inside of a tire, they can smell through that.
But there's still a lip around the tire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this. I just thought, like, these people aren't too smart. Like, wouldn't you train a dog and get one of those dogs and see if you would, like, get it through the system? Like, because these drug dealers, I don't know, they could have some money. They seem like to be rich people. Train a dog just like the United States government does, and then see if your dog can figure out which one has the stuff in it. And if it makes it, like, let's send those bananas. Like, but I don't know. Like, you have to be able to find a container that it can't get through. Like, okay, maybe plastic, but if you wrap it 2 or 3 times in plastic, you can't get through. Like, come on. Like, I just think
a good Pelican case.
Yeah, well, you put it in plastic, wrap it 3 times in plastic, then put it in a Pelican case. I mean, you make it so secure, and then you still put smells on the outside of that. So the dog would be just, like when they go through water or something. Or that's why they're putting it in maple syrup and corn oil, because you can't open maple syrup or corn oil because the dog wouldn't smell the cocaine in there because it's in a liquid form. That's
or just spray it with the fart spray after that.
No, I still think he could smell the cocaine through the fart spray, but... Anyways, just wanted to call you up, do another episode with you. And thank you for spending time with Why So Spicy with Drew B. coming at you. Thank you very much, Drew.